They cut the cameras. They turned off the lights. They thought nobody was watching, but we see everything. What happened after SmackDown went off the air last night wasn't supposed to get out. WWE tried to keep this quiet, but the locker room is erupting, the internet is on fire, and right now, right here, ringside Backstage News is pulling back the curtain on every single thing that went down backstage after that final bell. And trust me when I tell you, by the time this video is over, your jaw is going to be on the floor. So if you are not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button right now and buckle up, because this one is going to hit different. Let's set the scene. SmackDown ended. The crowd started filing out. The production crew was breaking down equipment. Wrestlers were heading backstage, cooling down, doing their post-show routines. Everything looked normal on the surface, but underneath that surface, there was a powder keg, and Randy Orton was holding the match. Now, for weeks, the tension between Randy Orton and the new Bloodline has been building to something dangerous. Every week you could feel it creeping closer. Every promo, every stare down, every moment where Orton locked eyes with Jacob Fatu, it felt like two freight trains on the same track with nobody willing to hit the brakes. And last night, those trains collided. According to multiple sources who were in that building, Randy Orton did not go quietly to his locker room after SmackDown. The Viper does not do quiet. The Viper does not do calm. And the Viper absolutely does not let things slide when he's got unfinished business, and he had plenty of unfinished business with Jacob Fatu. The word backstage is that Orton tracked Fatu down in the corridor, not in front of the cameras, not in front of the fans. Backstage, where the real conversations happen, where titles, egos, and bodies get put on the line without a referee in sight. And what happened in that corridor sent shockwaves through every single person who witnessed it. Randy Orton has held the WWE Championship multiple times throughout his legendary career. How many times has the Viper been WWE Champion? Drop your answer in the comments, let's see who really knows their history. Now back to what went down. Orton confronted Fatu, and this wasn't a polite conversation. This wasn't two professionals shaking hands and agreeing to keep it professional. This was Randy Orton, a 20-year veteran with absolutely nothing left to prove and absolutely everything to protect, getting in the face of one of the most physically dominant forces in WWE today. And from all accounts, it got physical fast. Sources close to the situation are saying that Orton initiated the attack, that the Viper, true to his name, struck without warning. One moment there was tension in the air, and the next, Jacob Fatu was on the receiving end of a Randy Orton assault that nobody saw coming. Not Fatu's guys, not the production staff lingering in the hallway, not even the agents who were supposed to be managing post-show cooldowns. Randy Orton went after Jacob Fatu backstage, and it took multiple people to pull him off. Let that sink in for a second. This is not a worked angle being played up for the cameras. This is not part of a scripted segment. What we are talking about is the real, raw, unfiltered chaos that happens when decades of professional wrestling intensity collide with genuine personal fury, and nobody was prepared for it. Now, why would Orton do this? Why would a veteran at this stage of his career risk everything by going after Fatu off script? The answer, when you really break it down, is actually very simple, and it's the same reason Randy Orton has always been the most dangerous man in any locker room he's ever been in. Because he doesn't respect what Fatu and the new Bloodline have been doing. Orton has been watching the new Bloodline operate. He's been watching the tactics, the numbers game, the cheap shots, the way they've been running roughshod over the entire SmackDown roster with zero accountability and zero consequences. And Randy Orton, who has spent his entire career being the apex predator of this business, was not going to sit in his locker room and let that continue without making his position absolutely crystal clear. The message Orton sent last night was not meant for the audience at home. It was meant for Jacob Fatu. It was meant for the new Bloodline. And it was meant for every single person in that locker room who's been too afraid to stand up and say enough. Randy Orton said enough with his hands. But here's where this story takes an absolutely wild turn, because while Orton was making headlines with that backstage attack, somebody else was making moves of their own. Somebody who has been suspiciously, deliberately, infuriatingly silent for far too long. Tama Tonga. Now let's talk about this, because the Tama Tonga situation has been one of the most frustrating slow burns in recent WWE storytelling. Tama has been lurking, observing, staying quiet while everything around him has been exploding. While Solo Psycho consolidated power, while Jacob Fatu became the wrecking ball of the new Bloodline, while the entire Anoa'i family dynamic was being rearranged and rewritten, Tama Tonga said nothing, did nothing, at least nothing public, until last night. After SmackDown, Tama Tonga broke his silence, and what he said has completely changed the direction of everything we thought we knew about where this story was heading. Tama made it clear that he is not blind to what has been happening. He sees the chaos. He sees the direction Solo is taking things. And while he hasn't made a definitive declaration about which side of the line he's standing on, make absolutely no mistake about this, the tone of what Tama said was not the tone of a loyal soldier standing behind Solo Psycho. It was the tone of a man who is done being patient. It was the tone of a man who has been watching, calculating, and waiting for exactly the right moment to make his move. And if Randy Orton attacking Jacob Fatu backstage is the spark that ignites this entire thing into a full inferno, then Tama Tonga breaking his silence is the gasoline being poured on top of it. The question now, the question that everybody in WWE is asking, is where does Tama's allegiance actually land when this thing fully explodes? Because if Tama Tonga turns on the new Bloodline, if he aligns himself against Solo and Fatu, then everything changes overnight. The entire power structure of SmackDown shifts, and Randy Orton, who just proved he's willing to throw hands in a hallway with zero hesitation, suddenly has a very powerful and very unpredictable wild card in play. Tama Tonga is part of one of the most legendary factions in wrestling history outside of WWE. What is the name of that faction, and what promotion did he compete for? First person with the correct answer gets pinned in the comments. Now let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture, because what happened last night was not an isolated incident. This is the culmination of a storyline that has been threading itself through SmackDown for months now. And the reason it feels so intense, so real, so urgent, is because the performers involved are bringing something to this that goes beyond scripted drama. Randy Orton attacking Jacob Fatu backstage is a statement about legacy. It's a statement about respect. It's a statement about what this business means to the people who have bled and sacrificed everything for it. Orton is not some young gun trying to make a name. He is the name, and he will not, under any circumstances, allow himself to be dismissed, disrespected, or overshadowed by a faction that thinks numbers and brute force are enough to run this industry. And Jacob Fatu, for all his incredible physical gifts, for all his undeniable in-ring dominance, just found out the hard way that the most dangerous thing in WWE is not the biggest body in the room. It's the most calculating mind. And last night, the Viper reminded everybody why he has survived, thrived, and dominated this business for over 2 decades. The coming weeks on SmackDown are going to be must-see television. Tama Tonga's silence has been broken, and once Tama Tonga starts talking, history tells us that action is not far behind. Randy Orton has thrown down the most personal gauntlet possible, and Jacob Fatu, proud, fearless, and absolutely not the type to let this go unanswered, is going to come back with something that nobody is ready for. This is not the end of the story. This is the story finally beginning. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you are exactly the kind of fan that this channel is built for. Smash that like button, share this video with every wrestling fan you know, and if you are not subscribed to Ringside Backstage News yet, do it right now because we are just getting started. Drop your trivia answers below. Drop your predictions. Tell me, do you think Tama Tonga turns on the new Bloodline? And was Randy Orton right to go after Jacob Fatu backstage the way he did? Let me know everything.